Morning, everybody. What's up? What's up? So I mentioned we'd go ahead and take a look at NQ today. But before we do that, I just want to see here, right? So we had marked this out yesterday in that recap, how we would see if this buy side didn't want to get hit now after clearing, right? So we clear Monday's low here. So now we're at that opposing buy side here. And so far this morning, you see really, I mean, of course, today we look at NQ, right? This is the cleanest delivery I've seen really so far this week. Power of 3, right? Breaking below the midnight open, expansion up above it, just respecting fair value gaps as we now head towards that buy side. So we'll actually go ahead and stick around here for ES just to see if, right, this buy side gets hit. Quickly, here's NQ. Because we can see NQ actually now looks right, a little uglier than ES. So of course, I'm going to go ahead and mark out our, we just cleared short-term low here. Equal highs here, buy side. And then longer term buy side here. So these are the liquidity pools. NQ, right? Equal highs here as well as here. So we'll just look for NQ to run this high as well. But so really ES and NQ, just looking for both of those to run up here this morning. Actually going to 2 minute. So ES has already hit, or it's about to. Equal highs in ES. NQ just ran those highs. There we go. NQ's cleared buy side. Just look for ES to catch up. This may be just another indication of really what we're going to continue to expect, right? So that consolidation, choppy environment, right? We're still expecting those conditions to continue. And the fact that we have now, right, we talk about if we clear buy side prior to the 9:30 opening, well, now the 9:30 morning session may be range bound. Right, same with NQ here. We've cleared this buy side. NQ continues to look like the strength leader though, which is why I wanted to just follow that today and see if we can't get any more expansion. Because overall in the higher time frame sense as we speak about, I still would prefer higher prices. Right, so like this hourly, notice how many times we've cleared sell side, right? Once, twice, 3 times, here 4 times, here now 5, here 6. So we continue to clear sell side, but notice buy side, right? We left this high, we have left this high, we have left this high, we have left this high, we've left this high, and now we have left this high. So we just hit this one, but we still have all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buy side pools that haven't been touched yet. So we're hitting 9:30 now. ES has already hit that, right? We're gonna watch NQ. So NQ has, we've now hit that equal high. Even in here, you'll see right the setup formed, order block. So this is a higher time frame fair value gap, but on the 1 minute, you see the order blocks inside of that. And there we go, okay, eat it down. So really aggressive now rally here. Looks like it wants to reach just straight for that high, goodness. All right, so we'll continue to watch here. Right, so remember, that's higher time frame buy side, but I'll go ahead and throw. That's just the other buy side pulls here that we have. So we have this one here. This one here as well, swing high, but since these are so close, I'm just gonna mark this one. Right, so then really the other one would be here. 15, same on that 15, 2. Okay. So you want to watch out, right? We've been one-sided off opening. Potential Judah swing here. But still interested to see, right? We fall short of this high. So we're interested to see what occurs. Inside of this right now. Look at that. Oops. So we marked out this fair value gap. What did price trade into? Right, look at this huge wick. Right back up into now. Really, we should have hit this buy side up. Damn, stream full already. My bad, Brisk. Yeah, we're getting a little large here. Getting a large group. Cool to see. When you trade New York. In this environment lately, yeah, I'm really waiting for that first half hour to be put in. Usually in like trending environments, or if we just have clean price action, I will trade like the 9:30 opening. So like the actual 9:30 opening. And you've seen some of those trades like on my Twitter, to where I'm using the 9:30 opening as volatility. So I'm entering right on like a Judas swing or something like that. But like in this instance, say I really was trusting higher prices. Still kind of am. But that's why I marked this fair value gap. Because that would be an instance where I would look to use this. Seeing how we break up and through now all these equal highs with displacement, leaving behind that fair value gap. As we tap back into that, that would be really that morning entry. Right, drawing into this buy side here. So yeah, it depends mostly, EJ. Oh damn, that's something too. If we are going to look at NQ, right, I forgot to mention, I have no new week opening gaps actually on NQ. So we may, while we're sitting here this morning, letting that opening range play out, actually go ahead and mark up some of those new week opening gaps. That way you guys can see kind of how I go about it as well. So let's get the first one here. Let's see. Right to Friday to Sunday. Friday close. Cool. I'll actually see if I can't. So you see we fall short again here of this high. See what NQ or ES is up to. So as you mentioned, ES just has hit that buy side now. So we've delivered into our buy side target we wanted to see in ES. We'll see what happens here now in NQ actually, now that we've hit that buy side. Cool. Gonna get back to the new week opening gaps quick. Bro, what? Oh damn, it's way down there. I was like, where's it at? This one's low as well. We might actually leave these new week opening gaps. Looks like they're going to be rather far away from current price. Let's see what this one would be. Yeah, for now I actually just leave them. Right, we're kind of so far above all of them. So notice where we are now. Right, just back into that fair value gap we've used the first time. A little blurry. Oh no, sorry fellas if it's blurry. Oh, I'm hearing myself. So at this point, really would just be interested to see if we can't hit this high again. Like I said, we've created two now swing points here underneath this buy side. So see if we can't drop into that, especially after clearing, right? We're returning into that fair value gap I marked for entry the first time. And as we return into it, notice how we clear sell side. So we've cleared sell side, returned into that discount, which is why I'll just see if we don't want to reverse from here and attack buy side once more. And notice how right on the 1 minute, we fill in this fair value gap. But this run here was for like 2 minute structure. So right, there's nothing on a 2 minute. The 2 minute fair value gap is here. Even though it's very small, right, it's still there. You'll see that. So this delivery here is for that 2 minute structure to deliver back into that inefficiency. And you'll see it's actually kind of there on a 1 minute too, here. But this is the one I liked more. And there's our expansion now. Into our buy side. Should hit our buy side, I would assume. I guess could be wrong and fall short again. But if we continue to put in highs right here like this, eventually, right, we should run up and clear that buy side. Say we get back below, let's see, 5 minute. Buy side, sell side. I mean, really, if we get back below like this, so this was the, I want to say 5 minute 15. Yeah, so this is a 15-minute fair value gap. If we're going to get back underneath that, then we may come back down for these lows here, actually. Right, but as long as we're above here, and notice how we're now above that midnight level. Candle body's using that as support. So as long as we're above this, I still would prefer buy side. Right, you'll see we're putting in, right, give and take here. So still true to fashion if I show you ES. Right, ES still the weaker one of the two. Let me go to ES. Right, so you see ES is now broken structure here at this low, where NQ hasn't. And we're actually hitting a new week opening gap here in ES, right? Notice that. So if ES is to bounce, should see NQ attack that as well. mighty survivor of hell. Wow. Like a 2-minute trail. What is the difference between short-term low and sell side? Not a difference. I just use them in as far as like my markings go. So if I have sell side marked, it's usually because we haven't hit it yet. And then if we do hit it, that's kind of when I switch it, right? So this is sell side, but it's also just a short-term low cleared. So I just use it to mark up really. So notice, right? ES continuing to look like it wants to sell off. At this moment, we're really just forming like a wedge, a retail wedge. People would see that as, but this is just right, that consolidation compression. You notice how we continue to use this fair value gap, right? So it's not a one and done thing with fair value gaps. Price will continue to reference them, respect them. So I'm gonna throw another Zoom link in the chat for those that can't make it into the. There should be a Zoom link. So we break through this one here, right? We reach back into the midnight, right? Remember, this is that 15-minute. So right, we're using that kind of as our waypoint here this morning to especially watch this candle, right? If we've wicked into this and still close above that midnight open, I still would ideally prefer buy side, right? We have cleared this little short-term high here. So we have cleared a buy side way in a sense, which is why we kind of are getting the retracement. But just continuing to watch what we get. At this point, because we are under this fair value gap now, right? If we're going to continue higher, I prefer us really trade back up and through this. Because right, in theory, now this kind of becomes and can act as an inversion if we're going to continue to sell off. Right, also notice this here. So these are two premiums that may hold price. Right, but if we're going to want higher prices, these premiums, we prefer to get broken through. But we watch and see which one gives way. Right, do these hold, delivering us lower, or do they just get traded through kind of as we would want if we want higher prices? So you see, I notice candle bodies holding inside. We're trying to wick above it. Can't. Yep, that 15-minute holds perfectly. You see that? And now look at where we're hitting here on the low, midnight open. So we're actually opening with the bearish volume imbalance. If this remains open, right, that may be an indication actually that we will trade through this low. So yeah, I'm really watching this volume imbalance, seeing what takes place right here. Right, to me, it's kind of key because it's also right at that midnight level. So if this does stay open, right, and we close under the midnight, that's why I would say that we may come back down underneath. Right, so kind of what we're getting here. And right, that volume imbalance is kind of giving me that order flow sentiment of what price wants to do. So we've cleared this low again. Still really just bouncing though off the 15-minute. All right, so let's not get too lost on all this lower time frame structure. Right, we're watching that for sure. But remember, like I said, that 15-minute fair value gap really our waypoint. At this point, because we've tested it so many times, all right, let's see how this candle holds. Right, just thinking that this midnight open now, especially because we have that volume imbalance there. So these may actually be premiums that do hold us. Right, you see how we immediately rebalance this candle. So we've immediately rebalanced into the midnight open. So we may actually start now continuing lower. So we have this inefficiency here, right? If we're going to continue lower into lower discounts through this 15-minute, we have this 1 minute. And then really, honestly, the only other thing is kind of this external range liquidity point. And I mean, look at where that candle closes. Right on that midnight level. I mean, at this point, right, we still could continue higher. We haven't broken through this. So that's that flip point, continuing to watch. Perfect delivery here. And really, we are just 50-50. Right, so it's still low probability. Ugly delivery. Because notice here, from this high now, 1 swing, 2 swings, 3 potential swings. So in a way, we're putting in, right, a bullish 3 drives pattern. And we've also returned into this discount, and we've cleared sell side here. So notice how those are coming together, right? Sell side cleared, 3 drives into a discount. But now really we're going to have to contend with these premiums I had mentioned now, right? So this volume imbalance and that midnight level is going to act as real resistance for us. And you see price, right? Wicking, struggling to get back above it. If we can get back above it, still really, right, looking just for buy side. So still that same idea, right? Even though lower time frame, putting in bearish structure, breaks in structure, still relying on kind of higher time frame structure and narrative. And you still continue to see now, right? Notice how that volume imbalance, midnight open, just rejecting, right? So that idea is playing out as expected, continuing to clear lows. So again, but still notice, right? We're not closing underneath this 15. There it is. So we finally get a push through. Still going to wait and see if this closes underneath. Right, we've now hit. So there's that second inefficiency. I mean, where does it stop? Hits the high perfect. And now delivers into it. And so this volume imbalance does hold us. Gives us now that leg lower again. But really continue, we're just stair-stepping lower. Right, not really pushing lower aggressively. At this point, as we said, right, sell side now, external range here. So if we're going to reach for sell side as we mark it out. So we trade into this 15 inversion. And there it is, right? So we now have hit that sell side. So we fall short of buy side here, hit this buy side like we spoke about, right? So we fall short of this one, but hit this one. And now we've reversed, cleared out sell side. Now you see how that 15-minute, so we're using that waypoint. As soon as we close underneath it, that means what? That we would look for those lower prices because we're underneath. And what does price do? It returns right into that 15-minute, uses it as the inversion. And from there delivers into now that sell side target that we had mentioned. At this point, let's see. We have we hit this one as well? So we've also hit this sell side. So we've cleared these two short-term lows in the meantime. And we'll give a peek at N or ES. I'm assuming ES, right, has been weaker, so probably a bigger sell-off here, yeah. Really, I would watch. This fair value gap kind of has my attention, really. Just because, right, it's aligned with the 830 level. So if we are going to continue to really sell off heavily, like say we want these lows here, I would just watch this most recently formed fair value gap. See how we react here. So I like to use that 830 level as kind of the morning session power of 3 as well. So we've got on higher time frames. Good short-term low, clear short-term high. Minute. To be fair, right, this 15-minute, we'll kind of wait to see how this 15-minute candle closes. That'll give me a little bit better indication. But as of now, you see really kind of seek and destroy. We create this low, create this high. We've cleared short-term low. We now cleared that short-term high. So I'm interested to see if sell side isn't that target again. So far, 830 level, acting as resistance. We have just cleared this low again. Opening with that bearish volume imbalance. Would like that to stay open actually, right? If we're going to hit this sell side here. See if that doesn't stay open, deliver us into that. Jazz, can you mute yourself for me, my dog? You good, Jazz? No worries. Just watching. See where if this volume imbalance stays open. Looks like it'll be closed. So we do close it in. Alright, so the only premium we have here really is this tiny fair value gap. And it's in between the two short-term lows. So I'll be interested to see what really occurs here, right? That's pretty small. We have delivered into, I want to say this. So right, this is external range, but as far as the internal discounts in here, I really like volume imbalances. So if I drag these out, let's see what these, and I mean, look at that. Right, so I like to use volume imbalances, and I mean, look at that precision here so far. So we trade into it, bodies hold, we bounce up into this premium. Now we're wicking back down lower. So we're just waiting to see, right, what price wants to do. At this point, like we said, right, our higher time frame objective at this point will be this sell side. So that's external range. Jefferson CN. And I'm watching this old low as well. Because you notice how if I just drag it out, we're kind of like underneath that. So notice the candle bodies are wicking higher, but the candle bodies are still closing underneath that low. So I'll just want to see if that can't continue. We've just hit that fair value gap again. Watching candle bodies, right? Candle bodies telling me the story. So far, we're still kind of underneath this. Right, you see we keep wicking into it, but what is the bodies doing? Wicks are doing the damage. The bodies stay underneath. But at this point, right, so we have this old low, this premium, and now we have these volume imbalances. So you see that's why price is, right, going back and forth here. It's bouncing between these PD arrays. I thought you should know. Right, if we can get a candle body closing underneath, so remember, this is how I use now those PD arrays. I'm seeing how we're closing inside of them, right, this discount and this premium. So if we can get a candle body closing below the volume imbalance, right, that would bode well for sell side. And you see we're actually starting to move that way now. But still, right, kind of that high resistance delivery where we keep wicking lows, right? So we've taken the low once, twice, 3 times. 4th time we've taken a low here. We are reaching 10 o'clock, so that first half hour of the opening range. All right, sell side. Let's go ahead and just hit that sell side for us. It was 20 handles already. That is one nice thing. NQ can give you 5 handles like that. Just because how aggressive it moves. I mean, right, if you use this, like we said, we would expect this area to hold. Just from there into sell side, that's already 20 handles. And so there we go. Our sell side now has been hit. From where? Right, just as we expected. 8:30 open. I mean, sure, 1 tick above, but still precision. And then from where? Right, wicks going higher. Wicks do the damage. We could care less about wicks. Where are they holding inside? Where are the bodies? The bodies are remaining underneath the low. So right, that's how I build this narrative. To where I see, well, I'm already looking for lower prices. Right, since we broke underneath the 15-minute, the waypoint. As soon as we break underneath that, right, my attention for longs here is scrapped. Right, as we said, if we're closing underneath it, we're looking for lower prices. So when I see that, right, and then we put in that displacement to clear out a low, displacement through an 830 level, that's key, which is why I pointed out, right, the 830 level, power of 3 is a key level in the morning session. So since we're underneath it with displacement, and we have lower sell side objectives, any retracement into that could be used to short. Right, so that acts just as we want it to, creates another displacement leg lower, clearing sell side again here, doing what? Same thing, right? Leaving behind a fair value gap. So now I'm watching that one to continue to deliver us lower. And as I see as we wick into it, and I notice that the candle bodies are still remaining under the old low, that's a good indication, right, that we're going to actually continue to sell off and attack sell side. Because the bodies are telling me the story as I continue to reference. And now after hitting that sell side, right, slight rejection. So not surprising. This here, oops. Oh shoot, hold on. So this really is the daily low. So if we're going to make a new low of day, this is here. Can you explain power of 3? Oh yeah, 8:30. So right, 8:30 level here. So the same way that I utilize power of 3 with the midnight open, right? Understanding that if we're in a trending environment, say we're in like a bearish trending environment, any manipulation above it is a manipulation, and we're going to look to short that manipulation. Right? Most of the time I'm using it though as if I'm looking for lower prices. So like here, as we break underneath the midnight level, if order flow is bearish, that level will act as resistance, right? So it's going to act as true support or resistance depending on narrative. Same with the 8:30. So when I'm referencing the 8:30 power of 3, I'm saying that because of the morning session, right at 8:30, what have we done? Really all one-sided higher. So now I'm seeing that as kind of that power of 3 manipulation above the 8:30 open. So when we have displacement underneath the 8:30 open, leaving behind a fair value gap in line with the actual 8:30 open level, well, now I'm confident using that as resistance because we're underneath it and we've already manipulated above. And as I say, right, it's going to be true support and resistance depending on narrative. So my narrative is lower prices, so the 8:30 will act as resistance. And right, same thing for the midnight. Power of 3 is something I use almost every single day. Like I said, right, we've just cleared sell side now here, so a retracement can be expected. We're back above, so this is the volume imbalance. Let's not get lost here. Really, if we could still remain below this old low, we may get lower prices, but you'll see there's really no inefficiencies here on the 1 minute besides now this. So this fair value gap we marked out, price trades into it. So this is the only real inefficiency left. So say price wants to give us a retracement higher now. This would kind of be the area of interest. And notice how the volume imbalance right now on the way up, price is still referencing that level. Take a peek at the other markets. You're saying SMT. Probably got SMT. Let's see what we got. 15. This low. I mean, I guess SMT here will do. But if you're saying these lows, this wouldn't be SMT yet. Because right, higher low here. Higher low here. But this one, yeah. Right, we do clear this low. But that SMT is kind of already played out because we've delivered into that buy side. $9.45. Oh, 5 minute? Or 1 minute? Am I blind? Sorry, hold up. 9:45 and 10. Oh, you're saying this baby candle? I mean, yeah, you can see that. Personally, I don't really use SMT in that way. I use it off the time frame swing points. But if you're saying like this low wasn't violated by this low, what this one was, Sure, yeah. So back above, this is kind of what formed yesterday. Between 10 and 11. Right, we're putting in a phantom trend line here as we're returning into an 830 level and an inefficiency. That's how we spoke about how only inefficiency, there we go. So now that idea plays out. After hitting the low, gives us a retracement just back into that inefficiency. Interesting reaction after hitting that, huh? Like I said, we're putting in this phantom trend line. So now after hitting that premium, we would expect this liquidity to be ran. And we've actually kind of hit the first one, but we'll see. Continue to watch what happens. So notice these lines here that just popped up, right? I had to turn on. This is the new day opening gap for NQ. So not only, right, that's what I'm saying. Why did I expect this fair value gap to hold initially? Not only did we break underneath the 830, we broke below both set of new day opening gaps. That in itself is going to act as resistance. And now on this run up, right, as I said, not only did we return into this inefficiency, but where are the bodies closing? Right on that new day opening gap. Bullish volume imbalance. Watching that. So it's still really holding this trend line liquidity. So eventually I kind of would like that to get ran, but right, we may put another leg higher here. Notice how these volume imbalances are still being used to support price now that we're up and above it. We're hitting like a higher time frame breaker right now as well. Which is why ideally, right, I kind of would like to see one more leg lower if we are going to put in low of day, like I said. Just because now at this point, right, I like how we've left all these lows. DXY. Yeah, we could look. Haven't looked at dollar today. So notice how we're now pushing up and through right? The premiums that were created on the way down. I mean, ideally, I would have liked lower day to get hit, and I'd be confident looking for a higher retracement. But the fact that ES and NQ, right, both left their lows, and like I said, we're returning into a higher time frame breaker, so we still could reverse. But as of now, right, we're putting in just bullish order flow. So we fully returned into now that inefficiency we were looking for here. Back above new week opening gaps. Let's see, just trying to get a read here. At this point, I would look and see. Sorry, fellas, just observing, right? Analyzing. Equilibrium. So we may actually get back up into this midnight level, right? Equilibrium is right around here, and you'll see this is the 15-minute fair value gap. Remember, so we can continue to use that, but on a 1-minute chart now, within that 15-minute, there's this inefficiency here. So I'm thinking if price wants to continue to rally here in the short term, right? These inefficiencies, and then this. Watch this fair value gap here. So as we break up above our new week opening gaps, or new day, excuse me, we create the fair value gap. So the same way here, as we break underneath, we create the fair value gap. On the way back up now, we're creating a bullish. So I want to watch that and see, right? And I mean, beautiful so far. Ghostbusters didn't cut it. Nice. There we go. Is that 9:57? Boom. So 15 hit. Right now we just look for that 1 minute. I mean, even from here. Geez, that gives you 5 handles too. Yeah, NQ can give you 5 handles like that. That's wild. So right, that fair value gap to even here. Another 5 handle move. Right, easy. NQ need 12.5. Oh, I was gonna say that makes sense. Wait, why do you need 12.5? To equal 5, is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. That makes sense. Is that regardless of what you risk though? Because like say in this instance, right, this. Your stop would go underneath this candle. 3.5 handle stop for 5 handles. But I guess if that's not true, 5 handles. Yeah, I haven't traded NQ in a minute. Oh yeah, sorry, CY. 9:57 candle is here. This one. 9:57 would be no. A breaker. So if you're thinking this is a bullish, I would say no. Right? A bullish breaker is going to be up close candles. So the breaker in this instance, you have this swing low, you have this swing high, and then you have this lower low here. So then this high gets broken here. So now I'd look for the last up close candle in this leg, which is this one. Right, so this candle here becomes the breaker. Drag that out, and you see how after breaking above it, right, we then don't breach that breaker low. And now where we delivered into, perfectly into the 1 minute. From where? So just real clean delivery, honestly, so far. Right, you can see how too, right, our first target of buy side. So I can admit that, yeah, we wanted this to be hit first, but, right, I gave myself if-then conditions. That's why I do that, to say, well, if 15-minute gets traded through, then I'm no longer looking for this to be hit, and instead, sell side will be the target. You see the clean delivery into sell side. After clearing sell side, reverse. Right, and like we spoke about now, just retracing into these premiums. So at this point, we're just continuing to watch discounts that form. And there it is. So that midnight open, we said that we would trade back into. Tap right into it. Volume imbalance. So we'll see if price doesn't want to actually just continue. Right, watch that discount, see what happens there. We actually have this. So I'm kind of watching this as well. Wicks can go underneath it, but right, if the bodies continue to stay above, we would just look for, kind of have this here next in mind, this inversion. We have buy side there. Yeah, this is right. Nice to see this clean delivery here. So NQ ends up working out. Let's see what ES is up to actually. Oof. So ES, right? Typical, not really rallying higher like NQ is. Still using the midnight open though well. New week opening gaps now. But so far to the upside, NQ clean delivery. And there we go. Right, notice volume imbalance. And why am I using that? Because it's inside of now the 15-minute and this 1-minute inversion. So because I've already using these areas, they're key areas to me. When I see new discounts get formed inside of them, then I'm looking to use those. So this may actually become a breakaway gap here. If we're returning into, let's see what we got. Nothing here on a 2. Nothing here on a 5 either. So really there's no inefficiencies in here on any, let's see, 15. Yeah, no inefficiencies. So like I said, really, if we were to clear this low, I'd be very confident in saying I want this high. But the fact that we just didn't take these lows, right, a little suspect. We can leave them, that's fine. But for me to be just 100% confident that this high gets breached, I would have wanted to see this. Because we still can, right, use that midnight level as resistance. So you got to think that this here is kind of that immediate rebalance on a 15-minute. We create that huge displacement candle to where you would kind of expect a fair value gap to be formed there. But now this candle, right, immediately rebalances it. And now we're playing at that midnight open. So this 15-minute and midnight open will kind of be an important area to watch actually. Right, you see the 5 is closed underneath it again. And at this point, we're just bouncing there. So we'll just continue to watch our discounts. As I said, this here is that next kind of draw higher. At this point, we're just bouncing off this premium. So right, we're gonna have to fight through. If we want to go higher, we have this volume imbalance that we'll have to fight through. And that's where you see we're getting stopped now. So from volume imbalance back into what? A volume imbalance. Notice that. So for one volume imbalance here, back into this one. We'll just see what happens. And And the way that we actually reversed here at the low, right, is also why I would like to see kind of just that this low to be taken eventually, these relative equal lows. As I said, at this point, right, we don't trade trend line, so we're not using it retail wise. But we look at it because, right, this is what retail would see. So this is kind of like trend line liquidity in a sense. Right, so people are going to be having stops like under these lows. But a good distance away. In the short term, we'll continue to monitor this order flow here. Right, notice how we're now using the inversion. Volume imbalance. Still the original 15-minute as well. Yeah, well, on regular trading hours, we have ran that low. So if you're going off just the RTH, right, that low has been cleared. Whereas the continuous contract hasn't yet. So just again, now from volume imbalance back up. So see, just bouncing between PD arrays. So same way we had here, right? Bouncing between PD arrays. Now, especially because we've hit the midnight open, right? Going to expect consolidation around that level. But yeah, the regular trading hours I was talking about, for those that couldn't see, I'll just show you. So we use this to give ourselves the opening gap premium or discount. So you see, right, we have traded back into that discount, and then we've actually cleared the low here. So if for regular trading hours, right, we have cleared sell side. But now for the electronic, you'll see that, right, we haven't yet. But we have cleared yesterday's low. So that was kind of important. I don't use OT as much anymore, Jazz, but I'll still use it every now and then. That really was the first model I ever used, was the OTE plus order block. But at this point, I'll simply use it more as a confluence. If I'm like just trying to find, I guess, more confluences behind my trade, I'll use the OTE. But it's not something that I require anymore. Because honestly, I can really see the OTE without having to pull up the fib, if that makes sense. So like I could tell whether or not we're going to return into, right, that deep discount. And I mean, so just dealing with chop now. Like I said, this is expected because why? Well, we're hitting the midnight open. Right, we're going to consolidate around that. We have just came off of sell side and created an expansion leg. So a mini, right, consolidation can be expected. And we're just in between, right, the volume imbalance. There we go. So we get that expansion right into. Oh, excuse me, jeez. Ah, 2 times. OMG, look, come on, fellas. What does this deliver into? Not only did we mention buy side, but more importantly, we had that inversion. Price draws right up into it. See if we don't go up and through it. If we can close above this, like I said, I really don't see any inefficient. I mean, we have like this. So we have these discounts that we've already used. But as I say, right, if we're putting in the buy side of the curve, discounts that have been used, although we can hesitate there, we're really using those as targets, right? That's why I keep pulling these up here. And this is a premium fair value gap that was used to send us lower. But now on the way up, we would really expect this to be kind of a target. So like we have this high. All these highs we left behind really can act as now a draw. Right, so if price wants to continue higher, then we have all these that we can hit. We'll have to continue and watch and see. At this point, because we have closed above the midnight open, right, we couldn't use that as support. So if order flow is to remain bullish, we would expect the midnight open to offer us some type of support. To where if we now break underneath it, right, start putting in lower order flow or bearish order flow, then we could come back into these discounts. Do you use implied? I don't really use that, Bruno. You can, but I mean, that's one of those things where like, you don't want to get distracted with new shiny toys. It's like when he first announced that, a lot of people were trying to. And in my opinion, it's really not. It doesn't form that often. And when it does, it's very specific, I guess I'll say. It requires pretty specific conditions for you to utilize it correctly. So for me, I'm just like, nah. Don't need it. And I don't really need, with all the other things I have in my bag, the implied fair value gap doesn't really matter to me too much. Right, yeah, so NQ was a good little job to go with NQ today over ES. But I mean, it still offered some setups. Right, NQ's moving more. I mean, actually, that's clean there. Passion. So you do see, look at this little, so we form a volume imbalance here aligned with this one, bearishly. So if we're going to want higher prices, right, if we want continued higher prices, this needs to be disrespected. We need to trade up and through it. Oh, nice. Price it right, bet. So just as we would like, right, we need to see candles trade up and through that now. We would want, though, the candle to close. So we don't want a wick with the candle closing underneath it. We want a candle body closing above. This return here, simply returning into our inversion. And 15. Right, so still, like I'm saying, this is our waypoint here. Right, if we're getting lost, we use the 15-minute as kind of our home base. And now, another leg higher. So now we have fully hit this here. And look at that reaction, actually. Interesting, huh? So we clear buy side, hit the high of the premium, and notice where we're actually going to close underneath. So we do close underneath that. So you see how it delivered into a kind of, right, that higher leg, but then retraced back underneath. From here, though, we want to see if we can't take that high actually out. Because now we've opened with the bullish volume imbalance here. You notice that? So now we want this one to hold, actually. Whereas with this one, we want to not hold, get traded through. This one here we want to hold to deliver us continued higher prices. Honestly, look at the energy these candles pass through. Poor me. Nah, you're good, Bruno. No poor me. Hey, it's just part of the learning process, brother. All right, don't get confused that a lot of people see me read price like I do now, and they think that I just always knew how to do this or something. But it's like, nah. Right, you're not seeing the thousands of hours I spent in front of the charts getting it wrong. Right, being lost, being confused, thinking I knew what I was looking at when I didn't. Right, back testing, journaling, looking at old price moves. So the only reason I can do this now is because, right, I've put in the time and the work. So it looks easy, but that's only because, right, it had to be hard first for it to become easy. A student, if price moves by. Yeah, so that idea of a large range heading into New York, right, that just comes off the idea of the market's going to move from expansion to consolidation. Right, so right now we're really been in a huge just consolidation. But more often than not, right, even on like lower time frames, you see we're moving from like expansions into small consolidations, which lead to expansions, which lead to consolidations. So if we have in London a large expansion in London, well then more likely than not, the New York session will be the consolidation phase of that expansion. Which is why I say, right, if we have a large range overnight in London, the New York session more than likely gonna just chop. Especially if we have delivered into a higher time frame objective already. See if I can't find like some type of example. But yeah, that's really the basis of it. Large ranges lead to consolidation. So if we have a large range heading into a morning session, that morning session more than likely will be consolidation. Do you consider yesterday's 10-15 bar? No. If this is what you're looking, are you talking an NQ, Bruno? 10-15 bar yesterday. This? Because yeah, if this is what you're looking at, I would not say that's an order block here. This one would be. Beautiful. So still playing out well, right? Midnight open, acting as support. Like we say, right? We're going to hesitate here, but we want to push up and through these. So now, right, we have hit the high here. Like we said, this is buy side. My ego, me and my ego. My ego is. Watch this volume imbalance actually. If we're going to continue higher, watch from here. So wick, don't get scared by that. Bodies can go lower. We're just wicking. We're waiting to see the candle body close. Inversion here. Here. So we do close underneath. Would have preferred to close above it. Notice where this candle went now that we close underneath it. We close underneath it. Now this candle taps the low of it perfectly. We're still inside though, this fair value gap. So we'll continue to watch if we can't find support inside of that. Pretty ugly delivery here, honestly. So for me, we still could go higher, really anywhere above still this midnight level. The amount of volume, that's funny. It could, yeah. That's why I gotta really understand which ones you want to use and how to use them. Big goes too much. Bruno here. Let's see. Oh, I was tripping. Wait. That's why I'm done, bro. My fault, Bruno. It was 10:15 p.m. So you're looking at this one here. I mean, yeah, in theory, you could see that as an order block. I like this one here really as the order block. These down two candles. But yeah, that one, that's fair. This here. So your answer would be yes, Bruno. So we return into, notice this. So at this point, we're really utilizing these volume imbalances. Notice we're back above this one. What did we create as we're trading back above this one? A new one. So now at this point, right, this is where I'd look for price to hold. Because if we're creating volume imbalances paired with them, as we're breaking through them, now I look for those to offer us higher. So many volume imbalances. Yeah, NQ creates a lot more volume imbalances than ES does, that's for sure. But just gotta learn how to navigate them. Relative equal highs there now. See if this little fair value gap doesn't get left open. Nope. Closes it in. Aggressive down candle. All right, we're not getting scared by that though. Right, that's what retail gets freaked out by. They see those. Another volume imbalance. Look at that. So right, if you're trying to use every one, that's when it can be confusing. So you have to understand kind of which ones to ignore. So like, although I'm looking at this, right, I'm not looking at this to short. And there we go, right? Ideally, we actually close it. It's good douche. Damn, prices be falling on what we say every time. That's hilarious. Well, there you go. So buy side here, met from where? Volume imbalance, right? Wicks do the damage. I'll continue to say that. Bodies tell the story. Walking the, yes sir, walking the market up. I like that. Market's on a leash. Picture perfect 5-pointer. Yeah, right. Of course, ES does. I saw that too. I'm looking at that on my other screen here. I'll pull it up for y'all. We're at that midnight open level. I mean, that was beautiful. As an entry. Easy 5 handles. What is this? So we might have another inside range day again. Goodness. That'll be what, 1, 2, 3, 4 inside days in a row. What do I think about that brick wall on ES? 41.38. 41.38. Here. I mean, I still really would want buy side. So we did meet our first buy side objective here, retrace. Notice we put in a failure swing here. And this was a rather shallow run. So if we're back above the 830, it would be nice for ES to actually go ahead and clear that if we can't. But we'll head back to Quizzle. So still just slowly trending higher. Right now I'm using kind of this one here. Still using this volume imbalance as well. 1 minute chart. Right here. Yeah, look at that, perfect. I mean, we're really just hitting, what, this volume imbalance right here. Notice these volume imbalances here. Look at that precision there. So if we can't get up through that, should start seeing higher prices. Oops. And notice how this volume imbalance here is lined up with this one. See that? So right now this is the resistance here in ES. Yeah, it's a good call that too, though, student. Right, higher time frames. Look at that. So this is, I mean, notice that, right? Not a coincidence. The consequent encroachment of this inversion fair value gap here. So, right, so I'm using this bullish fair value gap that we break through as the inversion. Take the consequent encroachment of that. That aligns perfectly with, right, that volume imbalance. So I'm going to remove the consequent encroachment, and you see how that volume imbalance level exactly right there. So that's why price is just smacking that level. And Q still strength leader. Slowly, right, taking its highs, taking its highs. I will say we'll look at the, let's go to a 15. Go 15 here. So while we do have all these buy sides, say the consequent encroachment just of this rejection block as well. I mean, look at that, right? So in the same way, when I take the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap, or not fair value gap, sorry, just of this wick here, right on that 15, what does it line up with? was perfectly that buy side target. I mean, to the tick. Literally can't get any more perfect. So when I see that, right, that's what leads me to think that this here is going to be a very strong draw on price. The fact that this buy side is aligned perfectly with the consequent encroachment of the wick. So we should see price reach up into that level at least. At least, right, touch it. Give me some type of equal highs, if anything. Go ahead, price. Thank you. As expected, there is our consequent encroachment and buy side now. And delivered. Look at the reaction. Interesting, huh? So our buy side objectives continue to be hit, and really we still are. Right, this is where retail wins. Like, this is a trend line. We understand the trend line isn't holding price. The retail traders that are trading, this is the days they say, oh look, if you just buy the trend line every time, you making money. It's like true. Until, right, that's why if we continue to deliver like this, if we hit this buy side, I'd really expect kind of a sharp retracement back into this range. So let's pretend, let's say the high ends up coming in, or what is this actually? So we have these as well. We'll just say, like, right from this low, say the high comes in like here, something like that. Equilibrium would return us to clear out all of this inter-range liquidity. Actually, I wonder. Midnight. Okay. Right now I'm just completely kind of like forecasting potential scenarios, right? Nothing too crazy. But I'm saying, like, say that we wanted to like clear buy side and return into the equilibrium of this range. I was just trying to figure out how extended we would have to be for the equilibrium of this range to become the midnight open level. Because, like, sometimes price will do things like that. It'll create a range, and like the midnight will be right in line with the equilibrium. And I saw that in order for this range, right, so if we're going to use this low, the high really of this leg, for this high to become equilibrium, or for the midnight to become equilibrium, would have to be this buy side target. So it's just kind of interesting to me. Because we may not get there, but in my head I'm thinking, right, that's rather interesting that if this price leg is to continue and we run out now this higher time frame objective buy side, that'll put the midnight open right at the equilibrium of that range. So now if we want to retrace into the range, right, we'll have a level to retrace into. Pure just assumption though. I mean, this is hilarious. It's just funny to look at that. Retail is right. It can't explain that trend line holding there. 2 volume bounces on ES. Yeah, we can take a look at ES. All right, volume imbalance formed. What? So you see, really, look at how that continued to hold price here. So we were watching it here, and even 1, 2, 3, 4 times it's struggling to hit that. We've just smacked this 830 open, so we'll see if ES can't finally push up and through. We're at 1050. So as usual, we'll hang out till 1110. Go ahead and wrap it up. So far, pretty good day here in NQ, honestly. Concepts playing out pretty much as expected. Micro show imbalances. Ah, that's what's tough. Yeah, that's what's tough, CY. I would go, I think I have the micro chart. Let me see. Is it this one? I see what you mean. Personally, I would rely on ES1. That's kind of, ES1 is like my go-to, my holy grail. And I know that is, I guess, a little contrast because Michael really likes to look at like the actual contracts, but I've just found in my back testing, right, ES1, the PD arrays that get formed in this chart are usually the ones that hold. So I base my analysis off this and then enter any positions off of that chart. These days, murder beginner, ICT. Oh, facts, B-boy. And that's why it's so hard right now for most ICT traders, right? Because a lot of them are beginner as much as they don't want to be, right? If you started learning from ICT even last year, you're still really a beginner. I'd say the first 2 years. If you haven't put 2 years in with ICT concepts, you're really still just learning how to utilize them. But yeah, days like this, I mean, not even days, we'll say weeks. Weeks like this, absolutely, not only ICT traders, but this buries everybody, right? Anyone that's not proficient in being able to read price in consolidation environments like this, I mean, they're getting smacked. And I feel for like higher time frame traders, that's why I'm glad that I know how to trade on like a 1 minute, right? Because nothing wrong with being a pure higher time frame trader. But if you're someone that is waiting for like 15 or hourly setups to be put in place, I mean, fuck, these past 2 weeks, right, you haven't really had anything to work off of. Whereas even though it's ugly on the 1 minute, you're still seeing, right, all of these opportunities that continue to present themselves since we know what we're looking for. Under pressure. This year, most we have seen. Oh yeah, for sure. This is the most, like I've been saying, this is the ugliest fuck I've seen price be in a minute. I mean, really, since I've started, fuck, to be honest. So it's definitely, as I said yesterday, if you're struggling right now and you just feel like you can't understand it, or even if you do understand it, but right, you're getting it wrong, that's fine. I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. We're in very unfavorable conditions and you need to be very just nimble and proficient if trying to follow price. I was 300 away from funding yesterday. Oh no, no, B-boy. The emotions got you, brother. That's right. Hey, we learned from that mistake, right? Get 1% better each day. Yep, get your handles and get out. Facts. Frisky. And that's also why, as I continue to kind of say, that 5 handle ends model has really been all that I'm working with now. If I do see good setups to where I can grab 10, something like that, I'll aim for 10. But at this point, 5 handles, I'm locking in something regardless at 5 handles every time. So I am interested in seeing how an NQ, we're starting to close below this fair value gap. Right, we still have these lower discounts, so we could hit those because this is only 1 discount. This should really be, every time I say something, it's like, okay, this is comedy. Now I see what Mike will be saying when he was saying it. It's like once you say something, it just happens. That's wild. It's all good. I learned. I walk away. Hell yeah. Yep. Walk away, B. That's huge. Literally, that's the end all be all. Right? If you're feeling any type of way, really just leave. Remove the stimulus. Don't even give yourself the opportunity to fuck up. I mean, you can be profitable taking 3 handles for sure. Like, honestly, I feel like I could find 3 handles with like a 2.5 handle stop. I mean, fuck, I don't even know how many times. We'll say 5, 10 times a day. The only issue with that is that your win rate would have to be fairly high. But I mean, if you know what you're looking for, it should still be high regardless. That 830 level on ES, right? Let's go to ES. Check that out. Interesting to watch. And right, this is what I've seen for years and years, CY. And that's what makes me confident, right? When I say that I'm going to use this as support or resistance, it's just seeing price, right, respect this level so many times prior that gives me that confidence. So I understand, right? Depending on order flow, these levels are key levels, the 830 and the midnight open. Key levels. And just as expected, right, said, right, we could trade underneath this, but we have lower discounts. And now, so this is very high resistance, right? We're still being able to call and follow our targets, but you should notice, right, and I want to point out that this is a very high resistance liquidity run. To a right, notice how we're clearing buy side targets, right? We're returning to inefficiencies, but it's give and take, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Up again. So still hitting our buy sides, but just as I say, very high resistance. This one here now is actually that low resistance. If we can clear this high. So now if we clear this high, we will have a new high of day. My biggest problem right now is trying to anticipate the entry setup. The entry setup, Jazz. Well, honestly, the entry setup is like the easiest part. So you say you're struggling to anticipate it. Does that mean, are you just unfamiliar with what the model looks like? My first day in the year. Damn, Mike, first no trading day. That's good though. Like one chart. I was 1K to getting funded, but I blow it. Damn, JC. Typical though, side. So say, don't feel bad, fellas, failing challenges. I mean, I failed 9, I think, before I ever got funded. I don't know. So Jazz, I guess I would suggest for you, right, since you're struggling to see kind of the entry models, go in at the end of each day and mark up the chart as if, right, you knew what was going to take place, and mark up the models that were present. Buy side hit currently, not only high of day, but right, we had this high here. So I said they were very close to each other. So we would expect both to be hit at the same time. There we go. And now, so really that idea still is kind of playing out, right? To where if we're going to continue to push higher, right, from low to high, for this midnight open to become equilibrium, right, notice where that would take us. Right above that buy side. So that's what I'm saying, right? That's rather interesting because nothing in the market's ever random. So if I'm seeing that, that really leads me to believe that this high may be hit. And then we'll get a retracement after clearing this high into the midnight open. The nightly reviews. Oh, bet, yeah. Jazz, those nightly reviews will help a lot. But see, I even suggest that you do what I do, right? So I'm making those reviews for you guys, but I was doing that for years before I even, right, was sharing it. I was just marking it up for my own private journal and keeping it. Because that's how you really, right, reinforce those ideas. Is that you have to walk through them, talk yourself through them, and you have to mark them up on your own chart. And that's something that ICT preaches. And it wasn't until I started doing that I got the real improvement. So I would watch ICT and his charts, and I could understand everything. But it wasn't until I spent the time to go into my own charts and mark them up myself that my confidence grew. Because I could see the concepts, but I wasn't confident that they would play out until I spent the time to see them play out over and over again. For me, it was not respecting my stop loss and adding to a losing trade. That is savage, JC. But hey, don't blame you. That happens, brother. Start losing, you think, all right, it's going to reverse. Let me just add more. Rules save you. Always have a stop. The stop loss is part of doing business, right? It's what you pay to run your business. Right, if my stop gets hit at this point, I'm thankful almost in a way. Right, because I understand my risk management is saving me from taking unnecessary losses. And my stop loss is there to do its job. $41.34. Let's go, CY. ES. Yep, clean setup. All right, why is that? Well, not only do we have an inversion, 830 level, short-term low gets cleared. So yeah, hell yeah, good trade, brother. Held through the chop, yes sir, beautiful. Growth right there, CY, love to see it. Hey, no problem, Jazz. I'm glad I'm able to help out. Way oh. I think I spent over 10K. Sheesh. Hell yeah, B. Never give up. You know, like I said, I was in the hole from challenges too, definitely. So even though I was getting payouts, right, I wasn't break even till like my third. Just because of all the money I dumped into it. But that's just part of the business too. Right, you gotta think, you're gonna go to college for 4 years and pay fucking hundreds of $1,000s. You know what I mean? But you're not willing to commit 4 or 5 years to learning this, which will be greater than any other job that you'll ever have. Right, the rewards for it are 10 times the amount of effort that you put in. So far, all our buy sides, has been cleared. And right, it's a good thing that we did switch over to NQ, because notice here, right, ES is still lagging. So really, if we're going to be looking for shorts, ES will be what we'll be looking at. If we're going to be looking for longs, NQ will be where we should look for that. Yeah, so we'll probably, right, once 11:10 hits, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Pretty much got all the good shit in for this morning. Would that be the Six Sister model? Yeah, Manny, that would be. Right, ES. Six Sister not taking out highs, where NQ continues to take out highs. Yeah, look at that trend line, Bruno, you sent. Except not only is there trend line liquidity, but like I mentioned, But just the fact, right? We don't even need to look at the trend line. We could go purely based off of price itself, and we just see, right? Sell side has been really the only thing being engaged. So ever since CPI, any swing high is held. So when we see that, we think that price is engineering liquidity above all these highs. And hopefully we should see price reach up and into that. Same on the daily. We've actually opened up with a daily volume imbalance. So notice where we closed and where we opened. So that may be a sign that, right, buy side eventually. But yeah, just got to continue to be forced to work within this small range. And right, fortunately, we're able to do that. But damn, I just want some, once we start moving again, that'll be real fun. ICT expecting the same. Look at that, facts. Yup, so yeah, he had the same idea. I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Like I say, everything I learn is from him. But yeah, notice, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 buy-side pulls in ES that have yet to be breached. Really 6 now here, if you count this. This is a swing point. Buy-side swing point now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn, 7. Oh, while I got y'all here, look, I'm gonna send you some. Give me your preference here, 1 or 2. This really has nothing to do with trading. Just curious. All right, this one. All right, that's 1. That's 1. Or this one. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Ah, decent, get played. No, I'm just kidding. That's funny. No, I did like 1 too. That's why I had it at first. But then the dude that I was working with, he sent me this second one, that variation. And I am a fan of the darker clock, to be honest. Fits the shadow name a little bit more. A little darker color. Ah, see, now we're going even 1 and 1. I was hoping it was just a clear one-sided choice. Because I've been thinking too. That's funny. The price would still need some catalyst to hide behind to take out all of those high time frame. I mean, that's part of it, student. Right, a catalyst, we're waiting for something. So yeah, that's what we're really compressing for. Because we're waiting for expansion, but right, we don't necessarily know what it could be. It could be Powell speaking, right? Powell says something this week, maybe. And that could right, run us into buy side. It could be, I mean, anything really. Black swan, it could be any type of news. Remember, we understand that news itself, right? The fundamentals are simply the catalyst. So the catalyst itself doesn't matter. It's just a matter of it happening to send us into our objective. Is there a way to square it up so it's perfectly upright? Wait, what you mean? Don't say that to me. Frisky, you're telling me it's not straight? Damn, now I'm hurt because I gotta look at it. Hold up. Oh, it's slightly rotated to the right a little bit, huh? Ah, you just ruined it. You just ruined it for me. Hey, no problem, B. Have a good day, brother. God damn it, Frisky. Now I'm pissed. That's funny. No, I could probably fix that easy. I could probably do that myself. Just gotta rotate the image a little bit. See, decent. Yeah, that one is nice too. The OG, because that's the OG ICT. I got a tough choice ahead of me. I mean, I can't change my logo for a little bit anyway, because I just changed it on Twitter. So they gotta like verify it. So it'll be the first one for a few. But I may switch to that second one here. Back and forth. Should have kept. Now you're good. Because now I could fix it, Frisky. Well, 1110 is hit. And we are right back inside of this survey gap here. So yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up this morning. Let me see what we have for tomorrow. Jobless. We have high impact news tomorrow at 9. So I'll actually do one last stream tomorrow. I thought it would be the last one of the week. High impact news at 10 Eastern. So tomorrow we'll actually wait until that high impact news. So we'll get on about 9:55 New York time to watch that 10 o'clock news take place. And then continue to read price. As far as which one, we may stay on. I don't know, I guess it's up to you. Do you guys want another NQ stream, or do most of you trade ES? Is there a preference, I guess, really? Could always do both, just look back and forth. But we spent most of the time here on NQ today. ES, okay. Yeah, we'll do ES. You trade NQ, of course. We'll do ES, but I'll reference NQ a little bit more. Seeks, we'll do that. Just because, right, I trade ES too, pretty an ES guy. That's my baby. But even I'll admit, right, NQ has just been a lot cleaner as of late. Better setups, right? Really actually delivering into our objectives rather than falling short. So that's just why I've been looking at NQ a little bit. But no, decent. I didn't use AI. I had someone that actually like does it. Same for my header on Twitter. He made like my header and my profile picture and all that. I tried using AI. I have Midjourney. So I was trying to do it myself, but I'm just not creative enough. My prompt skills must be ass. Because even then, though, you still have to, like, edit the image. Because I was getting some images, but then, like, they're kind of funky still, so you have to edit them yourselves. And I'm just not built for that. Today was perfect. Awesome to hear, Soli. I'm glad you found it helpful. Yeah, watching both definitely is smart. Right, because I watch NQ. Like I often say, I have multiple screens I'm looking at. So I have an NQ chart up always. But I just don't ever really trade it. Right, I'm using it simply to reference with ES. But as of lately, just like I said, right, I've seen NQ been a little cleaner. So I've been using that more. But yeah, tomorrow we'll plan with just doing kind of a double. So we'll have ES and NQ. Or we'll bounce back between them. See what sets up between the two. Nothing here this afternoon. Really have already met kind of my buy side objectives. Right, so we wanted this buy side here. Fell short. And now we finally have delivered to that. So let me clear all this, right? Because these were just kind of the most recent buy side formed on the leg lower. But our original target was right this buy side here. So now that we've hit that, content with the morning, especially with the setups that we kind of called out along the way. For those looking to be here in the afternoon, I still would favor a run on buy side. So ideally for me, right, I'm still looking, if you are going to be looking for anything, just higher prices into these buy side targets would be right ideal to draw on liquidity. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. Or actually, let's see. Right, almost like we're about to get up there. If we do end up hitting this buy side today, I will be interested to see just how we react to that. But still gotta wait. Let price play out. I guess I'll give you a quick and opposing idea, right? So we want buy side, but say price does start selling off. Really, I would just look for midnight level. Right, because we're still putting in really this trend line here, like this. Right, so if we clear all these lows, at least back to that midnight level. Lower than that, this is the only inefficiency here on the 1 minute chart. So that'll be our 2 markings here. But yeah, we'll leave it at that, and we will talk tomorrow morning, everybody. Have a good, oh, sorry, real quick. Student, I do hardly watch YM. So I watch it every now and then, but it's usually NQ, ES only. Cool. No problem, fellas and ladies. Enjoy your day. And like I said, we will talk tomorrow morning. See you guys. I'm back, fellas, quickly. Sorry. Just want to show you that. Look at that. For those that left, my fault. Still recorded. But we had got off. I mean, there we go. Welp. At this point, all of our shit has been hit. That's comedy. He hit us with the fake leave. See, I was trying to leave. Shit. But I saw that. I was like, oh, I gotta let him know. But right, that's comedy because we were speaking about that catalyst, right? We didn't really care what the catalyst was. We just looked for something. And I guess, what did you say? Biden is talking. Oh, Biden was talking. So there it was. So at this point now, actually, right, my afternoon would kind of be a wash. Because I mentioned these were the targets we were looking for. Well, right, we've actually just wicked and delivered into all of that. So at this point, and I mean, and now look at that reaction. That's hilarious. Huh. All right. Well, I guess I really just wanted to see that. I might point you guys out. So we have cleared all of our buy side now. At this point, the rest of the afternoon, I'd be done. But yeah, that was all. So like I said, right, we'll talk again tomorrow. See you guys for real this time.